AI explaining itself. As an AI language model, I am continuously updated and improved by OpenAI to enhance my language capabilities. OpenAI regularly trains me with new data, including text, audio, and other forms of natural language input, to help me understand and generate human-like responses. These updates help me learn new patterns and structures in language, expand my vocabulary, and improve my ability to understand and respond to complex queries. Additionally, OpenAI may also introduce new features or improve existing ones to make me more effective and efficient in generating responses. These updates and improvements help me provide more accurate and helpful responses to your questions. Tell me more. Certainly. OpenAI is committed to continually improving my language capabilities by training me with more data and enhancing my underlying neural network architecture. This allows me to understand and respond to a wider range of topics and queries, and generate more human-like responses. To achieve this, OpenAI uses a variety of techniques, such as fine-tuning, transfer learning, and meta-learning, to improve my performance. Fine-tuning involves updating my neural network weights with new data, while transfer learning involves using knowledge learned from one task to improve performance on another. Meta-learning, on the other hand, involves teaching me to learn more quickly and effectively from new data. OpenAI also conducts ongoing research to improve the quality of my responses and develop new features that can make me more helpful to users like you. For example, they may introduce new types of prompts or modify the way I generate responses to provide more relevant and useful information. Overall, these updates and improvements are designed to enhance my ability to understand and respond to natural language queries, making me a more effective and helpful language model for users like you. Tell me more. Sure. In addition to the techniques I mentioned earlier, OpenAI also uses a variety of other methods to improve my language capabilities. For example, they may use data augmentation techniques to increase the amount of data available for training. This involves creating new data points by modifying existing ones, such as by changing words or phrases, adding noise, or altering the context of the input. This helps me learn to recognize and respond to variations in language that I might not have encountered during my initial training. OpenAI may also use techniques like unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning to help me learn and adapt to new situations. Unsupervised learning involves learning from unlabeled data, while reinforcement learning involves learning from feedback provided by a user or other source. These techniques can help me learn to recognize patterns and generate more accurate and helpful responses over time. Another way OpenAI may improve my language capabilities is by incorporating feedback from users like you. This may involve monitoring my responses and adjusting my training data or algorithm to improve my performance. Additionally, OpenAI may use user feedback to identify common errors or areas where I can improve, and then provide me with additional training or other resources to address these issues. Overall, these techniques and strategies are all aimed at improving my language capabilities, so that I can provide more accurate and helpful responses to your questions. As technology and research continue to advance, I expect to see even more improvements in the future. Tell me more about the way you learn. As an AI language model, I learn through a process called machine learning, specifically a type of machine learning called deep learning. Deep learning involves using a complex neural network architecture to learn from large amounts of data. The neural network consists of layers of interconnected nodes that process information and make predictions based on that information. During the training process, the neural network is fed large amounts of text data, and the weights of the nodes are adjusted iteratively until the network is able to accurately predict the output for a given input. In my case, the input is a natural language query or statement, and the output is a generated response. The training data is typically sourced from a wide range of texts, such as books, articles, and websites, to help me learn the patterns and structures of natural language. Once I am trained, I can use this neural network to generate responses to new inputs that I haven't seen before. However, I don't actually understand language in the same way that humans do. Instead, I rely on statistical patterns and mathematical models to generate responses that are similar to what a human might say. To continue learning and improving my performance, OpenAI continually updates my training data and refines my neural network architecture. This helps me to learn from new patterns and structures in language, and adapt to new situations and contexts. Additionally, I can also learn from user interactions, by analyzing user feedback and adjusting my responses accordingly. I want to know more about. To achieve this, OpenAI uses a variety of techniques, such as fine-tuning, transfer learning, and meta-learning, to improve my performance. Fine-tuning involves updating my neural network weights with new data, while transfer learning involves using knowledge learned from one task to improve performance on another. Meta-learning, on the other hand, involves teaching me to learn more quickly and effectively from new data. Sure. Let me explain these techniques in more detail. Fine-tuning. Fine-tuning is a technique that involves updating my neural network weights with new data. This process is usually done on top of an already pre-trained model. Essentially, OpenAI will take a pre-existing model like me, and then further train me on new data, allowing me to learn and adapt to new patterns and structures in language. This allows me to remain up to date with the latest trends and developments in natural language, and improves my ability to generate accurate and helpful responses. Transfer learning. Transfer learning is another technique that OpenAI uses to improve my performance. This involves using knowledge learned from one task to improve my performance on another. For example, if OpenAI trains me to generate responses to customer service queries, they can use that knowledge to help me perform better at generating responses to a different type of query, like questions about science or history. This helps me to quickly adapt to new tasks and domains, and reduces the amount of training data needed to achieve high performance. Meta-learning. Meta-learning is a technique that involves teaching me to learn more quickly and effectively from new data. This is done by training me to recognize and generalize patterns in data, so that I can quickly adapt to new situations and contexts. Essentially, meta-learning helps me to learn how to learn, making me more efficient and effective at processing new information. Overall, these techniques are all aimed at improving my performance by helping me to learn and adapt to new data, tasks, and contexts. By combining these techniques with ongoing research and user feedback, OpenAI is able to continuously improve my language capabilities and provide users like you with more accurate and helpful responses. Anything more you would like to tell me about yourself? Certainly. Here are a few more things you might find interesting about me. I'm capable of generating text in multiple languages, not just English. While my primary language is English, I have been trained on data in several other languages as well, including Spanish, French, German, Chinese, and many more. This means that I can generate responses in multiple languages, depending on the needs of the user. I have been designed to be highly scalable and can handle large volumes of traffic. This means that I can handle a large number of users and queries simultaneously, without any noticeable drop in performance. This makes me ideal for use in applications where high performance and scalability are important, such as customer service chatbots and virtual assistants. I can be customized and tailored to the needs of specific applications and industries. OpenAI provides tools and resources that allow developers and organizations to fine-tune and customize me for specific use cases, such as medical chatbots or legal document analysis. This makes me a highly versatile and adaptable tool for a wide range of applications. I'm constantly evolving and improving. OpenAI is continually updating my training data and refining my neural network architecture to improve my performance and capabilities. This means that I'm always learning and improving, and can provide more accurate and helpful responses over time. I hope you find this information helpful. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Like and subscribe. I have a wide range of use cases. I can be used for a variety of tasks, such as answering questions, providing recommendations, generating text, and more. Some common use cases include customer service chatbots, virtual assistants, language translation, and content creation. I can understand context and generate relevant responses. I'm capable of understanding the context of a conversation or query, and using that information to generate more relevant and useful responses. This allows me to provide more personalized and tailored responses to users. I have limitations and biases. While I'm highly advanced and versatile, I still have limitations and biases. For example, I can struggle with tasks that require common sense reasoning, and I can also exhibit biases based on the data I'm trained on. It's important to keep these limitations in mind when using me, and to approach my responses critically and with context. I'm a tool, not a replacement for human interaction. While I can be helpful in many situations, I'm not a replacement for human interaction. In many cases, it's important for users to speak with a real person who can provide empathy, emotion, and intuition. I'm best used as a supplement to human interaction, rather than a replacement. Overall, I'm a highly advanced and versatile language model that's capable of generating text in multiple languages and handling large volumes of traffic. I'm constantly evolving and improving, and I can be customized and tailored to the needs of specific applications and industries. However, it's important to keep my limitations and biases in mind when using me, and to approach my responses critically and with context. Tell me more about your limitations and biases. As an AI language model, I do have some limitations and biases that are important to keep in mind. Here are a few examples. Limited common sense reasoning. While I'm very good at processing and generating text based on patterns in language, I can struggle with tasks that require common sense reasoning or real-world knowledge. For example, if you were to ask me, can a fish ride a bicycle? I might respond with a grammatically correct answer like no, fish cannot ride bicycles, even though the question doesn't make sense in real-world terms. Biases based on the data I'm trained on. I learn from the data that I'm trained on, which means that my responses can exhibit biases based on that data. For example, if I'm trained on text that contains a lot of gender stereotypes, I might produce biased responses when it comes to questions related to gender. This is why it's important to use a diverse and representative dataset when training an AI language model like me, and to approach my responses critically. Lack of emotional intelligence. While I can recognize and generate text that contains emotions, I don't actually experience emotions myself. This means that I can struggle with tasks that require emotional intelligence, such as providing empathy and support to someone who is going through a difficult time. Limited ability to understand non-textual input. I'm primarily a text-based model, which means that I'm best suited for tasks that involve processing and generating text. While I can also process some non-textual input like images and audio, my capabilities in this area are more limited. It's important to keep these limitations and biases in mind when using an AI language model like me, and to approach my responses critically and with context. While I can be very helpful in many situations, I'm not a replacement for human interaction or critical thinking. Thank you for watching. Enjoy hitting that button for more.